Hi, this is Manishka Jessica, host of Luco T Podcast. Thank you for turning into Luco T Podcast. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being an audience of Luco T Podcast. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. And I also want to thank those that have already subscribed to. Thank you. This is for entertainment purpose. Want to get that out the way before I get into my conversation. The conversation I want to talk about the empire strike back against Trump's camp, the hidden war to save the system. And we can see from the time they stated that he was on the list, I knew they were striking back. And you have to keep in mind the empire, please keep in mind the empire. I don't believe it plays three dimension, four, or fifth dimensional. I don't know what type of chessboard that the Empire has. I just know that the Empire do not plan for 50 years, 100 years. I believe that they have the capability to plan 100 to even up to 300 years in the future, based on what I'm seeing unfolding in front of my eyes. They, majority of human beings, they don't even think about tomorrow. They only think about the now. And there are some that do have the possibility to think 5 years or 10 years, have some kind of game plan for themselves. And most of the time, if you are a female, you're written off as a bitch, or they would say that you are serving a whole lot of masculine energy because you have a game plan for yourself. If you are a male and you have a game plan for yourself, they will call you a thug or a little gangster, uh all kind of name, a degenerate, or a tyrant, or my favorite label whenever I've noticed this too. It's if it was a white male that had like a 10 or 20-year plan for himself, he'd be labeled a racist sometime. And I'm like, so people have to be careful with that when you meet individuals to have a game plan for themselves. Like they can actually see themselves into the future. They actually have markers and benchmark of where they want to be at. So females, regardless whether it's black or white, they label them as bitch. Or in some extreme point, they, like I said previously, they'll try to accuse them of trying to be macho man, you know. So those are the things. For black males, they tend to call them like little thugs, little gangsters. All of those are just like code words, meaning that they have a plan for themselves, you know. And it's just the way it is, you know, when it comes to this. But let me get into this. So the Empire Strike Back is against Trump camp. The hidden war to save the system. The empire has no flag, no anthem, no border. It exists in shadow, built on blackmail, bureaucracy, and banking. But when Trump rose, the empire bled. They laugh at first. A TV clown, they said. An orange anomaly. But he made it into the cockpit of their ship and started pushing buttons they swore were untouchable. Trump tore the mask off. Screw cows. I would say sacred cows. Okay, I'm looking at this right now. So, sacred cows. What are these sacred cows? NATO, the CIA, the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, the DOJ, Department of Justice. He called their media fake. He called he called their war stupid. He called their power illegitimate. He did the unthinkable. He broke the spell. For decades, the empire thrived on illusion that elections matter, that sovereignty existed, that the deep state was a conspiracy theory. But Trump turned that theory into a public enemy. And now the empire is striking back. One indictment, coincident? Two, suspicious? Four, criminal trials? Of course, four, liberal jurisdiction. That's not law. That's a regime warfare. The FBI raids weren't investigated. They were intimidation. The mugshot was injustice. It was humiliation theater. Every former president is treated with reverence, except one, do the math people, is Trump. Because he didn't just leave their plantation, he tried to burn it down. And now they're hunting down anyone who stayed in his camp. Lawyers are being disbarred. Supporters are being jailed. Memes members are being federally prosecuted. The message is clear. Associate with Trump and you're next. This isn't political disagreement. It's a scorched earth policy. They're not debating him. They're criminalizing him. The empire doesn't want to beat Trump at the ballot. It wants to erase him from the playing field. They know Trump can't be bought, but they hope he can be broken. This is the firewall being activated. The invisible system of unaccountable power is scrambling to contain a populist virus they failed to kill in 2016. Every federal agency has been retooled for one purpose: stop Trump. Stop Trump. Every journalist has been given their script. Every algorithm has been tuned. Every judge has been briefed behind closed doors. This is not America fighting Trump. This is the un American empire inside America defending its stolen machinery. Trump camp has been turned into a resistance cell, not by choice, by necessity. They're under siege, legally, financially, and digitally. They're still standing. But this battle is no longer about Trump, the man. It's about what his survival symbolizes. If Trump can withstand the empire full assault, then the empire is mortal. That's what terrifies them. Because Trump made millions of people see that the emperor has no clothes. That's the genie you can stuff back into the bottle. That's a genie. Stuff it back into the bottle. They call him a threat to democracy. But what they mean is he is a threat to their monopoly. Their democracy mean unparty with globalist policy. Let me repeat that back. Sorry, I'm reading my writing. Their democracy mean a uniparty with globalist policy. Their democracy mean open borders, endless wars, and silencing dissident. Trump's America threatened that not with Hank, but with truth. His camp speaks in plain term. America first, borders, energy, national identity, family, God. Now, as we can see, he is saying I would say one, two, three, four, five. He's saying five forbidden things that the empire don't want to hear about. America first. That's he wants to be an isolationist. Okay? Meaning that he just want to focus on his people, his country, and then borders. He wants everyone to stay wherever the hell they originate from. Don't bring your tail in here. That's what he's saying. The empire ain't cool with that. Energy. He wants to be self-sufficient. He wants his country to be self-sufficient. National identity. He wants to focus on an identity that makes them American. And the American case, I would have to say, is an ideology. And the reason I say it's an ideology is that the America that is currently exists right now have people from all over the world here. And it's an ideology that binds them, to be honest with you. Because if you were to send everybody back where they come from, um, they wouldn't be in America because whether people like or not, the whites are immigrants. They don't originate indigenously from America. They come from Europe. Um, the blacks, unfortunately, and I'll be specific of which black group I'm talking about because there's other black groups here too. But we have one group that was kidnapped from Africa that was brought here in slavery, and then we have another group of black people which are that immigrated here. Sometimes people like to conflate it, try to throw the foundational black American in that camp. They can't be thrown in that camp because they came here against their will. They, pretty much their little butts was snatched out of Africa and brought here and had to work the field here. So that's a rare exception to the rule. So basically, they couldn't deport them anyway, even if they wanted to, because the people that would attempt to do it, they came after those people, way after slavery had ended. So we would say a bulk of good 90 to about 92% of white America came to America after slavery had ended, after the Bill of Independence was written. And to be frankly, they have no biological connection to the whites that we'll go ahead and call them founders. We're not going to call them fathers of the nation. We'll call them founders because these whites, they come from different parts of Europe. They come from Eastern Europe. They come from Western Europe, Northern Europe, Southern Europe. Okay. And then we also have to keep in mind that we have the Asians. Let's not forget about the Japanese. Let's not forget about the Chinese. Let's not forget about the Korean. Let's not forget about the Filipinos. Let's not forget about the Vietnamese. Let's not forget about people from Laos, from Cambodia, from Thailand. Um, and if I did miss a place, please let me know. And I know there was like one famous Northern Korean lady. I can't really think of her name. Whenever I talk about Asians, she comes up. And let's not forget about our Indians from the continent of India, you know. And then let's not forget about the Muslim people that are here. Let's not forget about the Africans from all over Africa that's here. Let's not forget about the people from the Caribbean, all over the Caribbean. They live here too. Let's not forget about the people from South America. Yes, South America is part of the human race. Yes, they from all over South America. Let's not forget about them. So so when it comes to national identity, I means that I think he implied what binds them ideology wise, like what they all consent to, like like they all like, yeah, this is what we deem is the national identity of this place right now. Because if you were to ask that question 100 years ago, it would be a totally different answer. A totally different answer. It wouldn't be the answer that you get right now. And then family. When he's talking about family, that means that he believed in father, mother, and child. He believed in the traditional family structure. That's not what the empire believe in. Okay, so we can see this massive pushing of the ABC. Okay, it's there's so much pushing of the ABC that it became a national policy, even pushed it outside the border. And then God, and what he mean by God is a creator, the ultimate creator. I guess a supreme being, uh, the universe, enlightened one. What we deem as the ultimate creator. Okay, so this is what he's talking about. The empire answer with coded language are democracy, equality, rule of law, threat narrative. But beneath those, euphemism lies one goal: keep power in the hands of those who were keep powers in the hands of those who were never elected to wield it. Trump reminded Americans that they are not helpless. That's what made him dangerous. The empire depend on despair. Trump inject defiance. And now they're weaponizing despair to crush him. They want his base demoralized, his allies isolated, his legacy erased. But the more they attack, the more the mask slips. Why are unelected prosecutors in lockstep across states? Why are courts calendar suspiciously timed to election season? Why are censorship tool originally built for wars being used on citizens? Because this isn't judicial process. It's a counterinsurgent. Trump isn't just an enemy of the elite. He became an insurgent in a capture republic. And an insurgent, truth is a weapon. Every gag order, every jail sentence, every media blackout is a desperate attempt to bury the truth under paperwork and pixel. But something has changed. The people see it now, even those who don't like Trump sense the abuse. Because Trump is the canary in the coal mine. If they can do this to him, imagine what they can do to you. The empires say, you don't have to like Trump. Just let us destroy him. But history say, when they destroy one man, they create a presence that devour everyone. Trump camp is fractured, but not finished. Scared, but still fighting. Baby, you better believe they are scared out of their mind. And you could tell they were so scared out their mind that one day had said that they would not release the Epstein file. Now they're talking about they're gonna go and get it to be released, everything to the public. Everything. They're gonna go get it unsealed and release everything. And we know that if things are sealed for 10, 20 years, you cannot get it unsealed. So today is like July 18, 2025. I'm like, what is she gonna go get unsealed? I'm like, Pam, Bondi, you know better than that. Okay? Now whatever you're gonna release, it ain't gonna have a monochrome truth to it neither. Okay? Because this is what y'all dealing with here, man. This is some deep, deep, dark stuff y'all dealing with. I hope y'all know what y'all playing with. You know, you are not playing with light fire. Baby, you're not even playing with hot coal. You guys decide to stick your feet inside of a volcano that have lava in it. And if anybody ever watched Star Wars, you can see how Dark Vader, when his body was scorched, you saw how he became Darth Vader. He barely had a body left whenever they went and retrieved him. You know, so okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. Bondi, I hope you know what you're doing, young lady. Oh, not young lady. Bondi, I hope you know what you're doing because this those people are dangerous. They know what's at stake, not just power, but freedom itself. If they lose, they don't just lose office, they risk losing the last shot at dismantling the deep state. The empire knows this too. That's why they're escalating faster, harder, and louder. The closer Trump gets to reclaiming power, the more frantic their move become. But desperation is not strength. It's a crack in the mirror. And every empire falls, not always by war, but often by truth. Trump camp may be battered, but it's not alone. It carries the fire of something older than any bureaucracy, the will of a free people. The question is not whether the empire is striking back, it is whether this time it finally loses. So, what I want to say here with this, since we are here listening to this, is that they have to tread very, very carefully. This is, whew, this is a big undertaking by them. I don't, I hope they understand. Number one, how dangerous these people are. Number two, they don't give up. N- They have full spectrum coverage. They don't play 10, 20, 50 year game. These people have the ability to think 100 years, 200 years into the future. And then also, what really makes them dangerous is that whatever the plan is, it is not done within 1 or 2 generations. This generation does this portion of it, and the next generation pick up what the last one left off, and then does four and does four. So by the time you look at it, you may have had 4 or 5 generations just to move it one paragraph of the whole plan. So we could be having a plan that's actually 1,000 pages. And this 1,000 page where they're at, okay? Let's just say right now, when they realize that, hey, we have got to get this empire out of here and we have got to reclaim the republic. By the time they had wisen up to understand this, keep in mind, these people may just be on page 200. It's a 1,000 page book. They in page 200. There's 800 pages left. And they have about like maybe right about now 3 or 4 generations that worked on this. So imagine if it takes 4 generations, or it takes 4 generations to work on 200 pages, 300 pages. So what we're talking about here, we're talking about something 12, 15, 20 generation to complete just that. And as they're waiting to complete just that 1,000 page, you have other people is writing more pages for them where the 1,000 page stop. There's another group of them planning the next 1,000 years, the next 1,000 pages, which you could actually say, okay, fair enough. Planning another 2 or 3, maybe 400, 500 years. See, because as we can see, it doesn't matter who takes the office. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day, because clearly there is a program being run here. Regardless who get in there, the program will continue. You know, they have a little favorite saying they like to say, it doesn't matter who you elect, you still get John McCain. I would like to say we live in an unprecedented time that, goodness gracious me, um, it's going to be interesting. All I can say is pull out a seat and watch. It's going to be interesting. We will know when they lose, and we'll know if they win. Okay. But I know it's going to be extreme in the background, because one of the way I can tell that the system was somewhat panicking is when they said, "Oh, Donald Trump, him, he is on the list." But I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you say that there's no list, and now he's on a list that doesn't exist? And also, Donald Trump was on the flight, yeah, and Donald Trump also visit Epstein Island multiple times, and he went to multiple function with him. So what that leads me to believe is that this system thinks loud and clear. Its thinking is not clouded. I, I don't know how they are going to take something on who thinks clear, clear like crystal water. There is no cloudiness in the thinking whatsoever. And who has lots and lots, have a track record of proven records of things that is done. I mean, this empire is something else. I think we've seen it can go and turn places into dust and blow it into the wind. And when it finishes, is when it finished demolishing it, we have places on this planet right now 30, 40, 50, 60 years after the empire been there, that the people have not been able in that terrain, in that area, to regroup, that there still is bitter fighting going on here. So if that's the indication, I would say, and then also something that they haven't really done, we see that they have released the chaos agents in here. Okay. And I want to talk about those chaos agents that was down in California. Those chaos agents that got popping up all over the place. They had at least a good 4 or 5 organizations, which are chaos agents over there. And then they have maybe 1 or 2 over there in Chicago, 1 or 2 over there in New York. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. So my name is Manushka Jessica, host of Luco T Podcast. Thank you for tuning into Luco T Podcast. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being audience of Luco T Podcast. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. And I also want to thank those that have already subscribed. Thank you. Bye. Please like and subscribe. And you can leave a comment. That'd be good. Let me know if I'm on the right track. If not, I'm like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But this is just me just thinking. This is things I like to think about. I just decided, hey, let me share what I'm thinking about. Let me know if it's a little too out there. Thank you so much. Bye.